Hello, welcome back to the channel, and this is a channel where we give you reviews, playthroughs, unboxings, and we generally like to talk a load of bollocks about tabletop gaming in general. And in this video we're going to be running through our top 10 two-player only games. And when we say two-player only games, we mean just that. It means games that are designed for two players only. We're not going to be talking about any games that play best with two players but were designed for playing with more than two players. These are sort of strictly two-player only games. Be advised though, if your number one two-player game ain't on this list, that's probably because we haven't played every single two-player game under the sun. So if you're going to get upset about that, it's tough shit, isn't it? So remember, if you're new here, then please consider subscribing to this channel. Leave a comment in that section down below, and we'll see you after this. Bollocks. So number 10 on this list is a game called Santorini. Okay, we've cheated straight off the bat, right? That doesn't make us untrustworthy. Actually, it does, because I'm a lying sack of shit. This game does play four players, but no one on the face of the earth, right, plays this game at four players. It is a two-player only game. It is shit with four players, right? So it's a two-player game. So basically, in Santorini, you'll be moving your figurine around them, and you'll be building different levels of structures, right? The idea is to get your little geezer or geezette onto the top level of the structure before the other player. The thing that makes this game really, really interesting is the fact that you've got these special powers that are gifted to you from the gods. And there's also a really, really nice expansion for this called the Golden Fleece expansion, right? Which is a little bit hard to get over here in the UK, but if you know the right people, you can get hold of it, you know what I mean? So yeah, Santorini, it's got wonderful components. I mean, it looks absolutely stunning on the table, yeah. It is highly thematic, loads of special abilities, a wonderful two-player only game. So the next game in our top, well, it's not strictly a top 10, it's just 10 games that we really like, right? But number 9 on this list is a game called Kahuna, and every time I play this game I've always got this image of Samuel L. Jackson in my head for some reason. I don't know why that is. In Kahuna, what you'll be doing, you'll be playing cards that will allow you to place bridges between a series of islands. The game takes place over 3 rounds, and you'll be looking to get the majority of bridges around each island, and that will allow you to place a little stone thing on the island, right? After 3 rounds you get points for the amount of stones that you got on the islands, right? It's a really, really simple concept, but the way that the game ebbs and flows and the way that the majorities changes hands based on the mitigation of the random card draw is quite fascinating. There's something quite charming about the game as well. It is a really, really small package, and it sits alongside some of those other Cosmos two-player games, you know, like Targi. And another game that's going to be on this list that you probably guessed is going to be on it already, right? But yeah, Kahuna is a wonderfully simple yet quite strategic two-player game that you should play. If you haven't already played it, you donut. So the next game on this list is a game that utilises these plastic tiles, really. It's a game called Hive. In Hive, what you'll be doing, you'll be playing these tiles with different insects on, and each insect allows you to place the tile or move a tile in a specific way. You might be able to place a tile that lets you hop over other tiles. You might be able to place a tile that lets you scout around the edge of any tiles that are already in the play area. But the idea of the game is to try and surround your opponent's queen bee with your tiles, right? I mean, when we first played this game, I thought, oh, it's just another abstract strategy game. But something about this game opens up in your mind. It's like a light bulb comes on. You suddenly see that the possibilities in this game are really, really quite strategic, yeah? I like to play this with my oldest son, who's 9 years old. He really enjoys this one. So yeah, it's great for kids as well. Hive, highly strategic. I hate to say it, but it's a sort of chess-like strategy game, you know what I mean? So the next game, what number is it? I don't even know. Number 7 on this list is a game called Jaipur, and in this game what you'll be doing, you'll be at a market buying goods and then selling goods. The game is really, really simple. It'll basically be a row of cards, and on your turn you'll be able to buy some of the cards, or you'll be able to sell some of the cards, right? There's camels in this game, and camels give you bonus points at the end of the round. But basically, the more cards that you sell, the more money you're going to get, and the better chance you got of winning the game, because the richer trader wins the game. Jaipur, easily one of the most simplest games you could possibly want to play for two players, and the strength for this game is knowing when to take the cards and obviously when to sell them, because the money tokens are worth more the sooner that you sell your goods. Jaipur is a classic. It was recently reprinted with I suppose, a more snazzy, high quality build. But even so, it is still one of our favourite 2-player games of all time. Right. So next game on this list is a game that a lot of people compare to another game on this list. It's Undaunted. There's 2 current iterations at the time of this video. You've got Undaunted Normandy, and then you've got the North African version. This is a scenario-based game, so you're going to set up a set of modular tiles with different bits and pieces on it, and you'll be given some victory conditions, and basically you'll be playing cards that represent members of your army, and you'll be moving them around trying to complete mission objectives. This game has been really, really popular over the last couple of years, and it does provide quite a nice alternative to another famous 2-player World War II game. It's not as good as that one, but it's still pretty interesting, and we are quite interested to see where this one is going to go, whether or not they're going to sort of branch out a bit like Memoir 44 into the realms of maybe 4 players or 8 players, or maybe there'll be some sort of legacy version of this. Who knows? They could do anything with this one. And so far as very quick scenario based war games go, Undaunted is pretty good. So our next one on this list is a game by Ryan Kanicha. It is Lost Cities, and in Lost Cities you'll be going out onto these, it's not really missions, but they call them missions, don't they? But you'll be basically investing in these expeditions to get the cards with the highest numbers into a row in the centre of the board. There is an opportunity to double, treble the points if you use the old handshake cards, but basically this is sort of like a risk reward type game where you'll be playing cards into the centre of the table in the hope that you're going to get the majority in that row. Lost Cities, absolute classic, been in print for the last 20 years. Not really much more to say about this one other than it is absolutely fantastic for 2 players, right? So number 4 on this list is another Ryan Kanicha game. This is called Battle Line. This is essentially a carbon copy reprint of a game called Shot on Totten, right? It's just that the theme is a little bit different, but basically in Battle Line, you'll be playing cards into a line of a battle, funny old thing, and you'll be trying to get the majorities of these sort of poker hands on your side of the board. There's only going to be 3 cards maximum on each side of the battle, but by playing cards you will then hope to capture the flag in the centre, right? There's also tactic cards that you can play onto the battle line that will alter the way that the scores are calculated, or basically mess with the rules a little bit. But Battle Line looks really, really simple, but again, it's one of these games that opens up strategic possibilities the more that you play it, and it is an absolute classic. It's recently been reprinted in a medieval sort of theme, but it doesn't really matter if you can get all the Shot on Totten or this one or the new one. It don't matter, because Battle Line is absolutely super duper. So number 3 on this list is a game called Claustrophobia. This one recently got a reprint via Kickstarter, but we haven't bothered with that one because we got the original version with the De Profundis expansion. Basically in this one you'll be rolling dice and using those dice to take different actions on your player board, right? It's basically a 2-player dungeon crawling game that has some wonderful, wonderful pre-painted miniatures. Obviously this version that we got is sadly out of print, but pretty sure you can get the updated version or the newer version quite easily. If you like games like Descent and Imperial Assault, all those very basic dungeon crawling games, but you've only got 2 players, then Claustrophobia is probably the one to have a look at, you know what I mean? So number 2 on this list is sort of, well, I suppose it is cheating at this moment in time, but we're talking about when it first come out, right? Yeah, I know, move the goalposts, right? But it's Memoir 44. This is one of the most popular World War II games that you can get. There's loads and loads of expansions for this, and the possibilities of this game are absolutely endless. What you'll be doing basically is a card-driven game. You'll be playing cards from a display, and they will allow you to move troops or attack in 3 different sectors of the board. A lot of the missions in this game are a case of winning medals, but the fact that this has got so many expansions, you've got the Pacific Theatre expansion, the Mediterranean Theatre, the Eastern Front expansions, makes this probably one of the most expansive 2-player games that you can get, and it's simply just a classic game, right? So number 1 on this list, the best 2-player game that we've ever played, is Seven Wonders Duel. This is a game that's based on, obviously goes without saying, the original Seven Wonders by Antoine Bowser. What they've done, they've enlisted the assistance of Bruno Cathala to make the 2-player game that was originally included in the big box Seven Wonders actually make it playable. I mean, a lot of people say that the 2-player game in Seven Wonders was actually quite good, but we didn't like the fact that it used a dummy player, so this was a revelation when we played this. Essentially, it's the same kind of thing. Rather than have cards in your hand, you'll be taking cards from a central display, but a lot of cards aren't going to be visible until you have depleted a row that is on top of them, and that will reveal a subsequent layer of cards. It's the same sort of thing. You're going to be trying to develop your science, you're going to be trying to develop your army. The army differs in this game because you've got this sort of push me, pull you sort of mechanism at the top, where an army token is going to be moving to the left and right, and whoever's got it over the tug of war rope type thing is going to have the strongest army. There's a couple of expansions for this, the Pantheon expansion and another one I can't remember the name of, but if you're looking for a two-player game that isn't tacked on in a bigger game, that takes the idea of a game that you're really fond of and actually molds it into a two-player game that stands on its own 2 feet, Seven Wonders Duel is probably the greatest two-player board game ever made. And that's going to upset a lot of you chess freaks out there, but to be honest, I don't think chess is a game. It's more like being stuck in a gulag with Lionel Blair. So there you go, that's our top 10 two-player games. So remember, if you're new here, then please consider subscribing to this channel. Leave a comment in that section down there. We'll see you next time.